The monastery at Svyatohorsk, built into a cliff over the Donets River, is a picture of serenity, though it's just 50 kilometers from the front line in Ukraine. It's inside the ancient dormitories where you see signs of war. They're now hosting dozens of displaced people. Others have found shelter in a nearby children's summer camp just across the river. Many have lost everything to the intense shelling. Some are simply fleeing the seemingly constant skirmishes that erupt despite the ceasefire. Most of the displaced are from Debaltsevo. Euronews met a family living in the summer camp. They face an uncertain future.
Everyone is waiting to see what happens in Debaltsevo. For the moment, the separatist force is there. So no one knows what's going on. Everyone, we all have relatives there. Of course you want to go back, at least to see what's there, how things are there, what's going on.
I'm the head manager of the fire service at the Debaltsevo train station. Our staff want to come back to work, so we're planning to go and take a look at the situation. We were promised we'd be paid. But of course, if the situation's the same as now, we'll leave, because we want to give our children a normal, international standard education. Our flat took a direct hit from a bomb. The balcony and the windows were blown away. For the moment, the structure's still okay, so we'll probably go back.
We came here from Holovka town. After we arrived, any time there'd be a bang, we'd be scared that the shelling had started here. So we listened carefully to hear if there is shelling and fighting outside. It's very scary. We hope that when everything is over, we can go back. I don't know. When the ceasefire came, we were promised everything would calm down.
According to the UN, there are now more than 1,100,000 displaced people in Ukraine, mostly the east of the country. It's thought some 20,000 have fled Crimea, but there are still many living in conflict zones. NGOs, partly financed by the EU's ECHO programme, provide aid in the field.
Our team brought this plastic sheeting and plywood here because a lot of the houses have been damaged by rocket fire or mortar fire. In the case of repairs of shelling damage, we prioritize, for example, disabled families. Maybe there's a disabled person living alone, elderly, single mothers with children.
Elsewhere, there are people living in the basements of heavily damaged apartment blocks.
Why don't I leave? All of my life I've lived here in Popasna. I worked at the train station and last summer I retired. I never thought of going somewhere else. I was planning to live here forever. But even if I wanted to leave, I've nowhere to go. I don't have relatives anywhere else, and I have no desire to leave. The local administration used to bring the water in here for free, but the last time they charged 30 kopecks per litre.
You'd better say thank you for them bringing the water.
Well, yes.
And that amount of money is nothing.
In Popasna, Euronews met volunteers from a Czech NGO, People in Need. Locals need everything: food, water, medical supplies. Some just need money as they haven't yet received displaced person status. Some find refuge at a hospital in nearby Soledar.
When people are displaced from their homes because of fighting, if they're fleeing inside their own country, they would be an internally displaced person. So they can register with the government's social services to apply for social assistance, and they can be considered displaced inside their country. Even if they're staying at home, but their home has been destroyed, or they've been displaced and they're staying at a collective center, they can apply for assistance.
They rely entirely on our support and supplies. I mean, here in the hospital, we don't get any help with the costs, and we pay an enormous amount for the extra electricity and water. For the medical supplies, we get nothing. It's very difficult. Volunteers give us some stuff, but it's really very little. We live in Soledar, and we don't have displaced person status, because they say there is still a Ukrainian flag there. But there's regular shelling and fighting goes on all the time. The last time my child cried for 4 hours because a bomb hit the house next door. Where should I go? We have almost nothing to live on. My mother gets a pension and I get a little bit. I get 1,000 hryvnia, but this is for losing our breadwinner.
The cash grants can vary. It depends on their specific need. The cash grant can range anywhere from $50 to $300 for each household, depending on the need. If they need a surgery, for example, for their child, if they have some kind of urgent need for winter materials or blankets and clothing because their apartment has been destroyed, this kind of thing.
Pisky remains a flashpoint between the two sides. It's close to Donetsk airport and there's still occasional fire. The village of Pervovayask is just 200 meters from the front. Almost everyone has fled, but a couple of families have stayed.
Ukrainians bring us help to our store over there. They brought everything, stew, cereals, everything. There was shelling recently that hit our garden. We thought we wouldn't survive. It was very scary. I'm not afraid for myself, I'm afraid for my child. I want so much for my lovely little miracle to stay alive. Yes, we are living here. Mainly old people, grandfathers, grandmothers. There are some young people, but most have left to Selidovo, Donetsk, Kherson, to Russia. Everyone left.
Yes, that's our land. We help some people to rebuild their fireplace or whatever. We help each other in that way. There's no gas here at all. The water supply is interrupted all the time. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Electricity, one day it's there, and for the next 2 days it's not. We can't leave because this is our land. Why should we leave? Let those leave who came to our land.
Many in the area are still waiting to be granted displaced person status by the Ukrainian authorities. That comes with an allowance of about €40 per month. Even amidst a shaky ceasefire, many locals prefer to take their chance at home than become internally displaced in their own country.